Welcome, everybody, to the May 2023 edition of Carallel's Caregiver Journey Conversation series. Matt Perrin, Director of Caregiver Engagement here at Carallel, back with you. And really excited about today's conversation where we're talking about adaptive equipment. So thank you all for being here. And we're all in for a treat because we have Cindy and Christina Hardin-Weiss with us. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hi, Matt. Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here. Cindy and Christina are the founders of Adaptive Equipment and Caregiving Corner, a phenomenal company helping people identify the right equipment for them and learn how to use it. And they are YouTube celebrities, which I'll get to in a moment. So really excited to have you here. Thank you very much. A quick bit of housekeeping before we get into the heart of the program, and this will be repetitive if you've been on one of these sessions before, but if you're joining one for the first time, Carallel, we are a caregiver support company. We support people who are helping an aging, ill, disabled loved one, and we do that in two primary ways. First and foremost, with personalized, tailored to your specific situation, human support on our caregiver support line. And we complement that human support with My Care Desk by Carallel, which is a secure website that's your one-stop shop for all things caregiving related. And we make our service available through health insurance plans and employers across the country. So if you've engaged with us before, great. We're always here to help. And if you're not sure if your employer or your health plan has access to Carallel, it's worth the ask. So the second, much more important piece of housekeeping is these are conversations by design. So please do share questions, comments, perspectives, anything in the chat console. We'll be sure to follow those as we're talking and address them in the session. Any we don't, per usual, I will follow up and make sure you get the answers you need. Lastly, on housekeeping, there is a handout today. Cindy and Christina, we have had handout issues with GoToWebinar, and for that I apologize. But if you look on your GoToWebinar panel, control panel, you should see a handouts section, and you can just download it right from the control panel. It's really just a reference guide to quick videos from Cindy and Christina that go into a bit more detail on each of the pieces of equipment we're going to be talking about today. So make sure to download the handout. If you have trouble or can't do that for whatever reason, please do email me. You can just respond to your invite to the webinar. That comes right to me, and I'll be sure you get the handout. So there's the housekeeping, Cindy and Christina. Now, so happy to have you here, and thank you very much. As we're transitioning into the heart of the program, our focus in these conversations is really on the practical, which I know we're in good company having you join us today because your videos are practical and fun. Those are the two boxes that those videos check. So, but we really want to be focused on the just practical sort of information that people can walk away with. Even if they walk away with one nugget of information, you know, it's a job well done in my opinion. So, and for today, that means identifying 7 pieces of adaptive equipment or 7 adaptive devices that you have here in your background. We'll talk about those and really understand sort of what they are, how to use them, and why you like them, right? And then, of course, it's critical for us to talk about how people can find the adaptive equipment when they need it. So we'll touch on that as well. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, fantastic. And I'm thrilled to get your perspective. You are the foremost experts on adaptive equipment. Cindy is a physical therapist, Christina as a speech therapist. Just really psyched to get into it. So let's do that. And the first piece of the first item I selected, you know, from your catalog of videos on your YouTube channel, is a gait belt.
Yes, absolutely.
Can we talk about a gait belt? What is it? How do people use it?
Yes.
And why you like it?
So this is a gait belt. This is a part of, as a physical therapist, as any therapist, this is a part of our toolkit every single day. So we usually use a gait belt. Our preference, or my preference, is one with a metal buckle, just because this allows me to secure the gait belt on my individual as well as adjust it while it's on them. When you have the plastic buckles, sometimes they're a little bit hard to adjust when it's on the person, but the gait belt is gait means walking. So we use it a lot when people are up, when they're walking, but we also use it for transfers, helping people up out of a chair, helping people up off the toilet, things like that. But the gait belt is just a good thing to have for that handhold for the caregiver to assist their loved one in getting up and down from a surface, or for balance when walking, just for safety in general.
Okay, great. I wish I used one of those when my father-in-law was in a wheelchair for a period of time, and my mother-in-law, or my mother as well. And it feels like the gait belt would have given us a peace of mind and made things quite a bit easier for us. Okay.
Absolutely. So you have a lot of people, a lot of times will want to grab people under the arms. You have to be careful with that. And we also, a lot of times caregivers will let loved ones grab them up around the shoulders or the neck. And that's where the gait belt comes in, because we really don't want to do that. Because if you think about it, when you're reaching for someone's shoulders or neck, if I go down and I have my hands around your shoulders or neck, your neck and head go down first, and there's really no recovery from that. So the weight person up here pulling you down is a tough situation to be in. So that's why I like the gait belt. Your arms are down closer to their center of gravity, where most of their weight is, and where you can have better control.
Okay. Yeah, and so is it fair to say that on the gait belt, but also just adaptive equipment in general, that there's sort of twofold benefit, right? It makes the person that needs the belt, it makes them safer, but also the person helping them with a transfer, whatever it may be, the act of actually helping them is easier as well. Am I understanding that right?
That's exactly right. A lot of equipment or products are specifically do that. It's about making sure that you can give safe care to your loved one, but not only safe care to your loved one, but keep yourself safe while you're providing that care. And so a lot of these products help those caregivers work smarter and not harder, because caregiving is so hard on the body.
Okay. Certainly co-sign on that. All right, let's move on. Now, just a reminder, on the handout, there is a link to one of Cindy and Christina's videos for each of the devices we're talking about today that go into more detail. I've seen the gait belt one, I've seen them all, but they do such a wonderful job at Adaptive Equipment and Caregiving Corner in these videos on just making them easy to understand, and it's a visual demonstration, and they're short, 2, 3, 4-minute videos, very, very helpful. So just a reminder, there is a video that corresponds with each device in the handout, and you don't have to go to YouTube and search for it. You can just click on it when you download the handout. So, okay, watching the clock, let's move on to number 2, which is the car assist handle. Now, this is one, when I saw the video, I slapped my table and said, man, I should have had that, right? And so let's talk about the car assist handle really quick.
Right, there are a lot of people that slap the table when they find out about this. Yes, car assist handle, basically what this is when you open your car door, on the frame of the car, there's your door latch, and it drops inside the door latch, and it acts as a handle for weight bearing to help push yourself up from the seated position, or to help lower yourself down into the car. So that is a car assist handle. Very nice thing to have.
It's also small enough you could put it in your glove box or in the pocket of the door, so it's always handy and readily available.
Right. And they're generally pretty easy to put in the door latch. It doesn't matter sort of make or model.
The only thing that we would say is the door latch, some cars will have a half moon shape, This is a little bit less stable in the half moon shape. We like to see kind of the rectangle shape. This will have a little play with it. When you put it in there, it'll play a little bit. But what I recommend is people just kind of pull it to them a little bit and then push up from there. So it kind of secures it as you're going. But
okay.
yeah, but you have to watch some of the latches. If they're half moon, this may move a little bit more than what you want it to.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, the big thing is.
Right, and this is one where the video really helps, because I can imagine if somebody's seeing it in this program that, you know, we're talking about it today, with you just holding it, Cindy, it's hard, can be hard to visualize, but as soon as you see the video, like I said, I was slapping the table, just so annoyed with myself for not knowing about it, because as my mom, she was living with Alzheimer's disease, and as she got into sort of the mid stages, one of the things that really, one of the best activities for us was going for a ride, right? It got harder later, but the first thing that happened that made that more and more difficult was just her, the challenge it was to get her in safely. And this would have helped, because that was, at that point, she still wanted to be independent as well. And who wouldn't, right? So
small space when you got the door open, you know, to get a wheelchair or a walker or just two people in that space. That handle just comes in really handy for people when you're trying to do that car transfer. It's such a small space.
Right. Yeah. And you mentioned wheelchair and walker. So that you won't see either of those on this list today. And not that they're not important, they are, of course. But my goal in sort of curating, if I can say so, from Cindy and Christina's videos was to talk about some things that maybe aren't quite as common or well known, and help, maybe have people learn about something they didn't know was out there, they didn't know existed. So on that, another one, the next one, number 3, is another one that I didn't quite slap the table, but I was like, darn, that would have really helped too. A button hook.
Yes, we have a button hook. All right, I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer. So as you can see here, let me bring it up here a little bit. This is the button hook, and I don't know if you can see this little hook at the end.
So it's got a wire, like a wire on the front, and then a hook on the left side.
Yep. So this hook can be used for zippers if you don't have the grip strength or the fine motor to get a hold of those and pull or push those. And then this end is used to actually go through the buttonhole, grab the button, and then pull it back through. So you don't actually have to, use your fingers to do that. And then and again, with all that adaptive equipment, we always say it takes practice, but you can also unhook a button with this as well. So you can button it, and then you can unbutton it with some practice. These are very nice little gadgets. Right.
Okay. Yeah, another one that I suppose would fall into the category of, as soon as you see the video, it's just easier to visualize. But this was one, particularly for both my mom and my father-in-law, would have come in handy. Especially my mom, she had a lot of button-down shirts. Whenever I used to call them a shirt, she'd say, "No, Matthew, it's a blouse." But that's neither here nor there. But I would always ask her, "Need some help? Need some help?" And she would. So that was a little bit of a flashpoint for us in terms of us getting into arguments, because I'm here seeing her have maybe a hard time with the buttons. This would have been a really handy tool to have in our toolbox back in that period of time. So thank you for showing it. So we do have, I didn't want to lose my spot here. Sorry, I don't want to skip over one. So number 4, I'm so interested in this one. And before I go, I guess, please do, if you have questions, comments, drop them in the chat. We'll do our best to address them. But number 4 is something that I had never heard of, I had never seen, and I understand recently made you both go viral, right, on YouTube. Is that right? So I'm not surprised, because you have over 2.3 million views on your YouTube channel. So the link to the YouTube channel, by the way, is also on the handout. But number 4 is a compression stocking donor. Did I say that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah, sure is. So what is a compression stocking donor? I can guess, but what is it? How does it work? And why do you like it?
Okay, so the compression stocking donor, to don something means to put on, which is the technical word, and to doff, D-O-F-F, means to take off. So a compression stocking donor or doffer is something that assists in putting your compression stockings on. Now I've got just a couple of different styles here, but anyone who has put on compression stockings on somebody or put them on themselves, we all know it's almost like wrestling a bear. So this is one of the styles that we work with. Some of them, you've got to kind of do some research because you want the right size, because a lot of times compression stockings you use if you have swelling in your legs. There's all kinds of different things that you might use them for, but swelling is one of the big things. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right size when you're getting a donor. But this one happens to have extended handles. This one can be used by an individual. And one thing that we always promote is if your loved one can do something, we want to let them do that. We want to try to help them maintain their functional independence the best we can. We also want to take care of you as caregivers. So if they can do, some of these activities, we want to try to let them do that. With this one in particular, if they can't actually put their own compression stocking on, this little piece right here comes off. This little piece comes off right here, and this actually allows the caregiver to put the stocking on. So the stocking gets loaded. Let me just bring it back here and I'll show you. So you put it over the top of this donor here. So it gets loaded over the top of the piece like this, and it comes all the way down. And then the caregiver can line this up and actually put it on someone's foot. So the foot would go in here, and then you can just take this up, just basically take this up their leg and put that compression stocking on.
I see.
So there's different types of donors. I would suggest, though, as a caregiver, instead of trying to do this with your hands, try to get some type of a donor. It's going to make things so much easier. This other, we've got a metal one here. Again, kind of put their foot in here, and then you run this up their leg, and that puts the stocking on. But compression stockings are really difficult when you're trying to.
And then I'm a speech therapist, and even in working in long-term care, I've had to put my fair share of stockings on an individual. And as a speech therapist, we don't like to sweat. And I'm telling you what, yeah, that's a chore.
Yeah, it is. Well, so it just seems very, very helpful. Another video, another case of the video that you both produced on YouTube where you actually demonstrate putting. I think I saw one of those, and that's linked in the handout. But very helpful. And I never actually, while caregiving, had to put a compression sock on my mom or my father-in-law, but I've had to wear them myself after surgery. And you're right, bear wrestling is a good analogy. So yeah, and
we have, Matt, just to kind of put this out there, on the end of the month, on the 25th of this month,
yes,
we are going to do a YouTube live, and we're going to talk everything compression stockings, compression stocking donors.
Okay.
There's a lot of questions out there about it, so we're going to go into the details of everything compression stocking. For your audience to join us.
Yeah, and that's going to be 12 noon Central Standard Time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So 25th YouTube live with Cindy and Christina on a compression stocking donor. If anybody has interest in that, just you can email me and I can get you connected. And get you the information to register. But I think people will probably jump at it if they take a look at your YouTube videos. Just fun, practical, informative. It's sort of the trifecta. So I want to keep moving just because I'm looking at the time. And Cindy and Christina, as you're talking, if you could just take a few steps toward your screen. And this is a first for us with a live studio with actual equipment and props. So we're working through it. I'm just getting a little bit of static. So number 5 could be number 5 could sort of fall into the category of more common, right? But really important. So I wanted to have them on the list, and I know some of your bed rail videos have a ton of views. But bed rails, right?
Yes.
Can we talk about bed rails for a second? Why they're important, why you like them,
Yes.
and a couple points on how to use them, proper use.
Right. So bed rail, people a lot of times don't feel like they need one. They don't feel like, it's really necessary. But I think people would be shocked at how much help a bed rail is.
Yeah.
Just in and out of the bed for that little extra grip. So a lot of times what I'll suggest, especially if I see one of my clients, I ask them how they're getting out of bed. If they start grabbing for the sheets or the covers to pull themselves up into sitting, I'm thinking, yeah, you probably need a bed rail. But this is one of the typical bed rails. And what you're going to see on a bed rail is you're going to have this long piece right here that goes between the mattress and the box spring. This bed rail can be used to get into the bed. It can be used to help pull yourself and get out of the bed. One thing that I like to see, though, on a bed rail is this right here. And I don't know if you can see, but we want it to come with a strap. And the reason being is the strap actually attaches to the bed frame around the box spring. And this is for those people who actually need to pull on the bed rail as they're getting in. So we've got people that maybe are in a wheelchair, coming up from a walker, and maybe have a little step up or something like that they have to get into their tall bed with. If you are pulling from this bed rail this way, trying to get into the bed, we don't want the bed rail to pull out from between the mattress and box spring. So I like to see ones with some type of a strap that'll go around the frame. Very helpful getting in and getting out.
Okay. Makes sense. Bed rails, they were a godsend for my father-in-law. And when we got a hospital bed, it became a moot point. But for a good 2 years, it was it gave us peace of mind, and made things easier, which is obviously what we're looking for as caregivers. So we do have a question from the audience, not related to bed rails, but related to beds, and in particular mattresses.
Yes.
So one of the audience member has gotten a bed through her insurance, or a hospital bed, but the mattress isn't. It has a couple of soft spots down near her husband's bottom, and she tries to sort of fill it up with some folded sheets and other things. But what can she do? I mean, obviously, getting a new mattress can be expensive. Is there anything that she, from your therapist's point of view, is there anything that this person can do to rectify this situation with the current mattress, or getting, what to look for to get a new one? Egg crate, or
it's a little bit of a difficult situation because a lot of times with insurance, with Medicare, you're going to get the mattress style that you qualify for. So a lot of the better mattresses, the alternating pressure mattresses, those types of things, you have to qualify for those. Otherwise, you just get the standard mattress. And I do hear that a lot from the clients, that the mattresses aren't great. Just kind of problem shooting. If there's anything else that the client could possibly qualify, if there is any indication that there's problems with skin breakdown, I would return to the primary care doctor, the main doctor, and talk about that and see if there's any way with a letter of medical necessity they could get a mattress upgrade. If not, if that's not qualifying, instead of trying to just go buy an expensive mattress, one possibility might be trying an alternating pressure mattress overlay. And the overlay is going to give you, first of all, it's the alternating pressure, so it helps relieve pressure points during the sleep, but it also can be adjusted somewhat in firmness. So
Okay.
that would be a possibility, and those are lot less expensive than you're just going out and buying a mattress with different types of foams and not really knowing what's going to work and what's not.
Right. Okay. Very helpful to get your perspective. And I believe our care advocates are working with this particular viewer, but was particularly interested in your point of view, given Cindy, the physical therapist background. Okay, we have 2 items left. I want to just touch on them quickly. They're somewhat related: a shower chair and a bathtub transfer bench. Now, this is one that was not new to me. We had one. I waited too long to get one for my mom. So that was the reason that I wanted to have these 2 things here on today's program. Can you give me a minute or 2 on these 2 pieces of equipment?
Sure, yeah. So we've got a bath bench and a shower chair right back here. So the shower chair, what we're going to do with that is really recommend, it is a chair, and we recommend those be used in a walk-in shower situation. Some people will use them in a tub shower situation. It gets a little concerning, especially if there's weakness in stepping over the tub. Some people use those with the assistance of a grab bar, but this is a shower chair. The tub transfer bench, let's show that one. Tub transfer bench is going to be a bench that actually partially sits outside the tub. So this is for a tub shower combination. So it sits outside the tub, and then the rest of it sits inside the tub, and it allows you to sit down on the outside of the tub, bring your legs over, and then scoot over into the shower. Much safer option than stepping over, especially if you don't have the ability to put in some type of a built-in or a grab ball that's secured. So tub bench is something that we prefer with a tub shower combination.
Excellent. The transfer bench was a game changer in our household, and like I said, we should have done it. We should have got one sooner. So which brings us, time flies when we're having fun. So we're almost at the bottom of the hour. So we may go maybe a minute over here. But I do, we'd be remiss not to talk about where we can get some of these things. And I would just put a plug in line with what I was just saying about the shower transfer bench to if I could go back and do it again, I would be more proactive. I would do things earlier. I waited too long. So that piece of retrospective advice from my situation aside, where lending closets, direct purchase, like where can people get this equipment? Through their insurance company?
Yeah, so we always try to recommend first and foremost is find your local lending closets. It's usually look under health equipment lending closet online and see where your local one is. What they do is they're usually not-for-profit organizations that collect gently used equipment. They refurbish it and then they lend it out either free or low cost to members of that community. And here's the thing is if it's something that you're not sure whether it might work with you in your situation, maybe the bathroom's too small, then you're not going to be out of pocket, out of money for that particular piece of equipment. So we always encourage people to go and find your lending closet. Lots of times the municipality, your town they might have a lending closet.
Hospitals.
Organizations like the VFW, they might have a lending closet also. And then also check with local hospice companies. Lots of times when families are done with their services, the family doesn't know what to do with the piece of equipment and they just relinquish it over to the hospice company. And the hospice company usually kind of collects it and lets some of their other customers use them as well. So those are the places, before you buy it, try it, and so before you go out and purchase it, then that's what we usually recommend. If you don't know who your local lending closet is, maybe reach out to your area agency on aging and find out they might have a list of resources for you, which they probably will. So that's what I would recommend as far as borrowing it, first off.
Yeah. And yeah, we're big proponents of the area agency on aging's, just a treasure trove of access to resources and helpful people. What about direct purchase?
Yep.
So direct purchase, the big thing you got to know is, you know, with Medicare, the majority of the time, and a lot of the insurance companies, bathroom items are not considered a necessity, so they are not covered. So you may want to try, you know, your big box stores, a lot of the Walgreens, CVS, those type of stores. Of course, you know, online you can always get something. The big thing though with hygiene products is you've got to make sure of the specifications, because a lot of times those are not returnable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we're having a little bit of an audio issue on, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, the static was back again. Apologies. Live television, what can I say? Okay, and so one other note on purchasing. So Cindy and Christina shared a very helpful link from Medicare.gov that is also in the handout. And it's a search engine where you can search for approved suppliers through Medicare. Medicare Advantage, obviously you're beholden to the rules of the road from your particular plan, but very, very helpful search engine. So with that, we're 3 minutes over. Heavens. So we will wrap up. Cindy and Christina, do you have any final thoughts for the audience?
My big thing is you can buy most of this stuff online, Matt, but you know, just because you can get it online doesn't mean you know how to use it safely. And as a matter of fact, it can actually become a hazard if you don't know how to use it safely. And so that's kind of where our videos come in. We get we get the product, we make a video, we put it out on our YouTube channel, and hopefully we can help people learn how to use the equipment safely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I love that. I'm not kidding when I say it's quite the rabbit hole to go into your YouTube channel. There's so much great information. The videos are super, super informative, really, really helpful. So as I've mentioned a few times throughout the session, that's linked on the handout as well. Please do take a look at it. So we will do this again next month. Caregiver burnout is the topic. And my dog just came in the room, so apologies for that. But caregiver burnout on June 22nd, how to spot it and what to do about it that'll be the topic. Registration information will be in the follow-up email, as will the replay. Cindy and Christina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Matt. We appreciate it.
All right, talk soon. Take care. Thanks, everybody.